My sister didn't just throw me out. She swore to bury my dreams under the weight of her scorn as Maine's storm roared. The sky tore open with thunder. Not a gentle autumn shower, but a full-on deluge. Lightning, wind, sheets of rain pummeling the walkway as she flung my satchel into the street like I was yesterday's refuse-it, she shouted, gripping the resignation letter I'd left on her desk at the family marketing agency. Her voice echoed across the slate-blue walls of our Bangor estate. "You dare think you can outshine our legacy with this garbage?" she hissed, her eyes burning with contempt. "We are a family of professionals, Noah. Scientists, CMOs, consultants. Not data analysts." I watched my satchel hit the puddle, knowing my prototype code, the start of a tool to combat market fraud, was safe in the cloud, but it still hurt. That bag had my laptop, my journals, the last bit of comfort from the only home I'd ever known. "Sis, please," I said quietly. "The starter job at TradeGuard is just a foot in the door. I've got a blueprint." "A blueprint?" she jeered, stepping forward, her voice sharp as a blade. "You're a fool, Noah, and I'll laugh when you crash." "A blueprint?" she barked out, a bitter laugh. "Oh, Patel, you had a future. The VP promotion at the agency, the engagement to Emma Shah, a respectable path. Not this. This ridiculous app dream." My brother-in-law lingered in the doorway, biting his lip. "Noah, stop this madness," he urged, his voice heavy with desperation. "You're breaking our family apart. I canceled the engagement because I want my own career. Bro, I don't want to marry into stability. I want to build it." "Build?" Sana scoffed, her lips curling. "You're building a house of cards, and I won't be there when it falls." Her face hardened. "You're throwing away a marketing degree from Yale to answer analytics queries, to be a nobody. If she'd bothered reading my business plan, she would have known that job was my way into TradeGuard's infrastructure, so I could learn their weaknesses and build something better. But she never listened. "Go," she said, ice in her voice. "You want to chase nonsense? Fine. Just don't expect us to catch you when it fails." "Sana," my brother-in-law whispered. She slammed the door behind her. "He's not my brother anymore." "You're erased from this family, Noah," her voice boomed through the wood, raw with rage. I stood in the rain, scooping up my soaked bag with shaking hands. That day I lost my family. But I started building my future. 4 years of secret coding, 4 years of pretending to care about brand campaigns and client pitches while quietly building my fraud detection algorithm had led to this moment. I looked at my brother-in-law, still standing in the open doorway, one hand resting on the frame like he wasn't sure if he should step out or step back. "Bro," I said softly, referencing the same thing. "You're betraying us all," he snapped, his composure cracking. "Sana's right. You're destroying everything we gave you." He looked toward the house where Sister Sana was no doubt in her mahogany-nanled office, pouring herself a vodka, furious and self-righteous. "Maybe," he whispered. "Maybe in a few weeks when you realize this was a mistake." Then he gently closed the door behind him. Let him drown in his failure. "He'll regret this." I turned back to the house I'd grown up in. Cobblestone facade, pine-lined driveway, and the Patel and Patel marketing sign shining next to my sister's Audi. Then I slid into my dented old Nissan and drove away from the life they'd designed for me. My new place wasn't much. A rented attic in an aging Bangor suburb with creaky floors and spiders the size of marbles, but it had fiber internet and just enough room for my monitors and servers. The entry-level analytics job at TradeGuard paid scrap, but I wasn't in it for the money. Every day I answered queries about crashed spreadsheets and frozen metrics. But behind that headset I was watching, learning, mapping the architecture of their systems, how their protections worked and how they didn't. At night, I coded. The algorithm I started building in Python scripts during campaign reviews was evolving. Oh, it was a dynamic fraud prevention model, one that could recognize subtle patterns and shut them down before they turned into breaches. 3 months in, I got a call from Emma. "Noah, this has gone far enough. My father says your sister might take you back. We can still do the wedding. Just put this fantasy behind you." "I gave you my heart," she added, her voice trembling with hurt. "How could you throw us away for this?" I hung up, blocked her number. A week later, San's voicemail seethed. Emma's in tears because of you, Noah. You're a heartless traitor, and I'll make sure the world knows. 5 months after I left, it happened. During a random data scan, my tool flagged a buried exploit in their system, something their top-tier defenses had missed. Quietly, I reported it. Days later, I was summoned to a glass-walled office overlooking downtown. Mrs. Gupta, the head of risk management, folded her hand. "Can you explain how you found this?" I met her eyes. "Actually, I've been developing a new protocol. I can show you." 2 hours later, I walked out with my first development contract. Small, but it was mine. Enough to leave analytics and go full-time into building what I believed in. That night, I sent my sister and brother-in-law an email titled, "Update. I'm not coming back." The response came from my brother-in-law's email, but every word dripped with my sister Sana's tone. Analytics to junior developer. Hardly the kind of legacy we envisioned for a Yale graduate. The Shaws asked about you at supper. Emma is still unmarried. You're a disgrace, the email continued. Stop this madness before you ruin our reputation. I didn't finish reading, just closed the email and went back to my code. The next year blurred by in lines of Java and long nights. My protocol evolved, growing smarter, faster, and far more effective than anything on the market. That first contract with TradeGuard opened doors. Then came inquiries from someone at the Federal Reserve. I left the rented attic behind and moved into a modest apartment, then a bigger one, then a sleek loft in Bangor's budding tech corridor. On one developer, then 3 more, then a team of 40. Thus, Patel Shield Systems was born. But I kept my name off every filing, let them think some anonymous analytics prodigy was behind it. I had my reasons. My brother-in-law's messages trickled in every few months, mostly links to ad industry galas or articles about Emma Shaw's corporate ambitions. I archived them without opening a single one. One read, "Sana says you're a stain on our name. Come back before you're shunned for good." Meanwhile, offers poured in. Acquisitions, VC deals, $100 million buyouts. I turned them all down. I wanted control. I earned control. As headlines swirled about the mysterious founder of Patel Shield, I hired a charismatic CEO named Lucas Reed to be the face. He was perfect for interviews and investor calls. I stayed underground, coding, testing, improving. One afternoon, my chief of staff, Priya, knocked and peeked into my office. "Noah Inc. is asking again. They're doing the 25 under 25 list. Tell them to talk to Lucas," I said, eyes still on my screen. "They don't want Lucas. They know. They're publishing with or without you." I froze. "How?" I asked. "Probably that intern from TradeGuard. He never signed the right NTA." I leaned back in my chair, imagining my sister's face the day she shoved my laptop into the rain. All those emails, all those warnings. "Fine," I said. "I'll do it. But I have one condition. Make sure Sana's name is nowhere near it," I said, my voice hard. "This is my victory, not hers." 2 weeks later, I sat in my glass-walled office holding an advance copy of Inc. Across the cover, a Unicor 24th century officer of defect general systems, youngest self-sentenced Glennick millionaire. My phone buzzed, my brother-in-law's name. I watched it ring, then let it go to voicemail. Sana's text followed. "You think this makes you bigger than us? You're nothing but a thief of our legacy." The Inc. article dropped on a Monday. By Tuesday morning, Sister Sana's marketing agency had lost 2 of its biggest corporate clients to firms using modern analytics solutions. By Wednesday, they'd lost 4 more. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing. My brother-in-law had called 25 times. My sister 12. Even Emma Shaw had tried messaging me on LinkedIn, no doubt after hearing her father's PR firm lost 3 contracts over data concerns. "Noah, you've ruined us," Emma wrote. "Sana's a wreck. Undo this damage." Thursday morning, Priya popped her head into my office. "Noah, your sister and brother-in-law are downstairs." I glanced up from my workstation. "Here?" "They brought backup," she said carefully. "The Shaws, both senior and junior. Of course they had. This wasn't a family visit. This was business. Desperate, last-ditch business." "They're not on the schedule," I said, tightening the belt on my blazer. "No, but your sister tried to strong-arm the security team with legal jargon. Your brother-in-law's turned toward the window. 2 buildings now bore Patel's Shield's logo. "Send them up," I said, "and activate Oval Office." Protocol Leela, my personal favorite, was named after my great-uncle, the only one who believed in me. He secretly bought me my first computer. Now, his name was tied to a live visual demonstration of every breach we'd prevented in the last 24 hours. As the elevator climbed the 25th floor, screens across my office lit up in sync: TAC maps, defense logs, live comparisons between compromised firms and our protected partners. The doors opened. Sister Sana barged in first, gripping ink like a legal brief. My brother-in-law trailed behind, eyes red and weary. The Shaws followed, stiff and uneasy. "How dare you humiliate this family like this?" "Humiliate?" I snapped, stepping forward. "Oh, hell now! You lied to us," my brother, all this time pretending to be some data assistant. "I never lied. You just never asked." I glanced at Emma. Too busy forwarding articles about Emma's career or pushing supper invites to notice what I was building. Emma stepped forward, smile rehearsed. "Noah, come on. Maybe we can realign our goals, merge our interests." "Merge?" I scoffed, my voice cutting. "You want a piece of my empire now? You don't get to ride my coattails." "A merger?" I echoed, then gestured at the glowing displays. "No one skips the audit," I said. "Not even family." "We're not just any potential clients," Sister Zana snapped. "We're your family. You owe us." I rose from my chair, slowly. "Do I?" I walked around my desk, facing her directly. "Let's talk about what I owe you. Should we start with the day you tossed my things into the rain? Or maybe when you told everyone at the Coastal Club I was having a breakdown? Or how about when you tried to have me declared legally incompetent just so I couldn't touch my trust fund?" "You were a spoiled brat," Sana shrieked, slamming the magazine on the desk. "We handed you a golden future." Her face darkened. "That was for your own good. You were throwing away a future." "A future you planned," I said, pressing a button on my desk. The screens behind me shifted, now showing Patel Shield's real-time stock value and total market valuation. The numbers blinked, bold and impossible to ignore. "You mean this?" I gestured. "The company valued higher than every marketing agency in this city combined. The system protecting 75% of Fortune 500s, the technology behind a new $1 billion 0 cents federal contract." My brother-in-law collapsed into a chair, his wool scarf balled in his hand. "But why didn't you tell us?" "Tell you?" I said, voice like steel. "So you could undermine me again?" "Were you really going to listen?" I asked, folding my arms. I remember clearly. Sister Sana said I wasn't her brother anymore, that no family of hers worked in analytics. "That was 4 years ago," he whispered. "We were worried." "No," I said. "You were worried about appearances, about the broken engagement with Emma and what the neighborhood would say." Emma stepped forward, still trying to salvage her charm. "Noah, we can move past that. Let's grab dinner, talk it over." "Dinner," I said, my gaze icy. "You think a meal erases years of your patrol?" I hit another button. A contract appeared on the wall-size screen. "This is Patel Shield's standard audit agreement," I said calmly. "If your firms want to work with us, you'll sign this. The fee is $25,000, 0 cents per audit, non-negotiable." "25,000?" Mr. Shaw stammered. "That's extortion." "Actually, it's a bargain," I replied. "Ask the clients you've lost." I returned my desk. "Priya will send over the paperwork. Standard processing is 4 to 6 weeks." "Weeks?" Sana shouted. "We're bleeding clients now. You should have thought of that before dismissing analytics as beneath you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a board meeting." "Oh, Arjun Patel," my brother-in-law said, his voice trembling. "This isn't over." "It is," I said, nodding to the security team near the elevator. "They'll show you out. Oh, and that reserved parking spot at Patel and Patel, you might want to reassign it. The Patel name's got more weight in tech now." After they left, Priya brought in a fresh coffee. "Your brother-in-law left this," she said, handing me an old photo. "He wanted to give it to you himself," Priya said, placing a small frame on my desk. "But he didn't have the courage." It was a photo of me at 11, hunched over my first computer in the corner of my great-uncle's den, a gift from Uncle Leela. I smiled. Of course, Sister Sana had hated it. Computers will rot his brain, she'd scoffed. But Uncle Leela had leaned in close and whispered, "Keep going, Arjun." Then he slipped me books about algorithms and Go under the table at family dinners. Some people build empires with ad campaigns, he told me. You'll build yours with code. I propped the photo beside the ink cover on my desk. On one side, an 11-year-old boy dreaming in front of a clunky monitor. On the other, a man who turned those dreams into billions. The following weeks brought wave after wave of attempted reconciliation. My brother-in-law emailed daily, shifting from guilt to bargaining to subtle manipulation. Sister Sana's agency submitted to our full audit, paid in full. Masha sent a sleek silver BMW to my building. I donated it to a local girls in tech nonprofit. I stayed focused. We rolled out a revolutionary new protocol integrating adaptive AI, acquired 2 bleeding-edge startups. My net worth quietly doubled, then tripled. But none of it distracted me from the date I'd circled in my calendar and heart. Uncle Lila's birthday, the first since he passed. Issue beside his headstone. "You were right, Uncle," I whispered. "I built something bigger than they ever imagined." I stood in silence until I sensed movement behind me. He looked smaller somehow, older, not scolding, not polished, just unsure. "The lilies," he said gently. "That computer was his idea." "I know," I said. "He said something in me. I was against it, he insisted, but he said you had fire, the kind he recognized, and he held out another photograph. Uncle and me both laughing, wires tangled between us. "He left this for you, and a letter." He hesitated. "I was supposed to give it to you if you ever succeeded, but I didn't think you would, not in tech." She never understood that true success isn't about following traditions, it's about creating new ones. Prove them wrong, my boy. Then prove them right about one thing, that you're still their brother, even if you chose a different path. Love, your Uncle Lila. I looked up at my brother-in-law, really looked at him for the first time in years. The tight perfection of his suit and cufflinks couldn't hide the weariness or the weight of regret behind his carefully curated posture. "I have a board meeting in an hour," I said, folding the letter with care and slipping it into my desk drawer. "But maybe we could get coffee next week, just us?" His eyes welled. Like that. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But maybe it was the start of something new. That evening, I added 2 things to my office wall: Uncle's letter and the photo of us at my first computer. Between them, I framed a single page of code, the original build of the protocol that started it all. My phone buzzed. "Noah, your sister's agency passed the audit, approved the client agreement." I glanced at the wall, 11-year-old me grinning at a CRT monitor. The ink cover. The letter that told me I'd make it, long before I did. "The clause," I said. "They have to update the parking permit first." Patel Shield Systems has a nice ring to it, because sometimes success isn't about proving them wrong. Sometimes it's about proving yourself right. And sometimes, just sometimes, it's about building your own way home, even if it takes a billion-dollar bridge to get there. If you've ever been underestimated, pushed aside, or told your dreams didn't matter, I hope my story reminded you that quiet strength. I built something powerful when no one believed in me. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove me right. Leave a comment below, share your story, your turning point, or simply a word of encouragement. I read them all. And if you're still in the middle of your journey, here's my advice. Trust your spark even when others can't see it. Subscribe and stay with me because we're just getting started, and I'm not done building.